Hey there, welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into a complex topic, the lesser discussed impacts of Saddam Hussein's governance in Iraq. His regime is widely condemned for its brutality, wars, and human rights abuses. But history is rarely a simple narrative of good versus evil. Some aspects of his rule had beneficial effects, particularly in the early Ba'athist years. These are often overshadowed by the immense suffering he caused. To understand Iraq's trajectory, it's worth examining these elements. It's not about excusing, but understanding the multifaceted nature of power. We'll look at infrastructure development, advancements in education and healthcare, shifts in women's rights, and pre-war economic development. Let's explore these points with balance and historical context. Picture this, it's the 1970s. Oil prices are surging globally, and Iraq, with vast reserves, is flush with cash. This was a transformative wave of petrodollars. At the helm was Saddam Hussein, consolidating power. He and the Ba'ath Party envisioned a modern, powerful Iraqi state. Oil wealth became the engine for reshaping the nation. The government embarked on massive infrastructure projects, creating a modern circulatory system for the country. New highways connected remote areas to urban centers. This rapid modernization projected progress and strength. Modern road networks were a visible aspect of this push. Before this, Iraq's transportation infrastructure was rudimentary. New highways symbolized a state reaching into every corner. They promised faster travel and easier trade, and easier military and security deployment. For ordinary Iraqis, improved connectivity had tangible benefits. The oil boom fueled a massive infrastructure overhaul in Iraq. But the Ba'athist vision extended beyond just concrete and steel. It aimed to transform Iraqi society, focusing on education and healthcare. The party emphasized an educated populace and a healthy workforce for national development. In the 1970s and early 1980s, Iraq made remarkable strides in these areas. A flagship initiative was the National Comprehensive Campaign for Compulsory Literacy. Mobile teaching units and evening classes were set up, with strong societal pressure to participate. The results were initially impressive. UNESCO awarded Iraq prizes in 1982 for its efforts in combating illiteracy. Reducing illiteracy meant access to information and better employment opportunities. For the state, a literate population was more productive and receptive to propaganda. Literacy empowered individuals but also served the regime's agenda. Education at all levels became a major focus. The government declared education free and compulsory up to a certain age. This included primary, secondary, and university-level studies. Now let's turn to a particularly complex and often surprising aspect of Saddam Hussein's early rule: the status of women. When we think of authoritarian regimes in the Middle East, progressive women's rights are not usually the first thing that comes to mind. And yet, in the earlier years of Ba'athist Iraq, particularly in the 1970s, the country saw some notable advancements for women, especially when you compare it to the situation in many other nations in the region at that time. It's a facet of this history that often gets lost, but it's important for a complete picture. The Ba'ath Party, with its secular and modernist ideology, at least officially promoted gender equality as part of its nation-building project. This wasn't necessarily born out of a deep-seated feminist conviction across the entire leadership, but rather a pragmatic understanding that mobilizing the entire population, including women, was crucial for economic development and social transformation. So, laws were introduced and policies were enacted that, on paper, aimed to improve the status of women in Iraqi society. This created a window of opportunity for many Iraqi women. One of the key changes was in political participation. Iraqi women were granted the right to vote and to stand for office. While the political system itself was, of course, far from democratic and largely a rubber stamp for the Ba'ath Party, the symbolic importance of women participating in the political sphere was not insignificant. Iraq, as a modern state, is a complex tapestry of diverse ethnic and religious groups: Arabs, both Sunni and Shia, Kurds, Turkmens, Assyrians, and others. This diversity has been both a source of cultural richness and, historically, significant political tension. Saddam Hussein and the Ba'ath Party were acutely aware of this. A central pillar of their ideology and governance was the promotion of a strong, unified Iraqi national identity. one that would, in theory, transcend these sectarian and ethnic loyalties and bind the populace to the state. The regime relentlessly promoted a narrative of Iraqi nationalism. This involved invoking ancient Mesopotamian history, emphasizing Iraq's Arab identity, while often downplaying or suppressing non-Arab components, and cultivating a sense of shared destiny. Symbols of national unity, the flag national holidays carefully curated historical accounts, were constantly reinforced through state media, education, and public ceremonies. Saddam himself was portrayed as the father figure, the unifier, the strong leader guiding Iraq to greatness. This was a powerful and pervasive propaganda effort. The Ba'ath Party's officially secular ideology was a key tool in this attempt to unify diverse groups. Before the massive oil price hikes of the 1970s, Iraq was, like many post-colonial nations, a developing country with an economy largely reliant on agriculture and some limited oil exports controlled by foreign companies. While it possessed immense potential due to its oil reserves and fertile lands, translating that potential into widespread prosperity was a significant challenge. The social and infrastructure developments we've discussed were, in many ways, dreams waiting for the resources to make them a reality. Then the oil boom happened, and everything changed, at least for a while. The surge in oil revenues during the 1970s was nothing short of transformative for the Iraqi state's coffers. Suddenly, the government had access to unprecedented wealth. This financial windfall, as we've seen, directly fueled the Ba'athist regime's ambitious plans for modernization and development. It paid for the new roads, schools, hospitals, irrigation projects, and the expansion of the military and security apparatus. Saddam Hussein and his government effectively used this oil wealth as the primary lever for state building and for projecting an image of a rapidly advancing nation. For a period, particularly in the mid to late 1970s and into the very early 1980s, before the full impact of the Iran-Iraq War, Iraq was indeed considered one of the more prosperous Arab states. The story of Iraq under Saddam Hussein is not monolithic. In the 1970s, tangible developments occurred that seemed positive. These changes altered material conditions and opportunities for many. But these elements do not balance the regime's true nature. Developments occurred within brutal authoritarianism and human rights violations. Resources funded both schools and a terrifying security apparatus. The Anfal campaign, chemical attacks, and political purges define his era. The full picture is one of immense suffering inflicted upon the Iraqi people. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more